In the deepest, darkest part of the endless ocean, a whale sang, but no one answered. Its voice, a lonely melody, traveled for thousands of miles through the cold, crushing darkness. It echoed off underwater canyons and drifted through forests of kelp, but still, only silence returned. This whale was not like the others. Its song was different, higher, stranger, a frequency that no other whale could understand. It was the sound of utter solitude. When it was young, it swam with its pod, a warm, moving current of family. But slowly, the others began to move away. Its strange calls meant to connect, only created distance. It did not understand its voice. It did not follow its song. One day, the pod swam over the deep blue horizon, and the little whale was left behind. For a while it followed the memory of their shapes, a phantom warmth in the cold water. But they were gone. The whale kept singing, hoping for a reply, an echo, anything. But the vast, indifferent ocean never replied. Its song was a question sent into a void, with no one there to receive it. Years drifted by, like plankton in the current. Seasons passed. The sun warmed the surface far above, and winter brought crushing ice. Storms raged, churning the sea into a chaotic frenzy, and then gave way to an unnerving calm. Through it all, the whale traveled. It crossed entire oceans, a solitary pilgrim on an endless quest, searching for a voice like its own. It became a ghost, a myth whispered on the waves. It followed the deep thrum of container ships, mistaking their engine noise for a kindred spirit. It trailed the slow, groaning drift of icebergs, hoping their cracking moans were a response. It chased shadows in the deep, phantoms that danced at the edge of its vision. Sometimes in the quiet moments between the crashing waves, it thought it heard something, or a faint tremor, a distant note that almost matched its own. Hope would surge through its massive body, a powerful current of adrenaline. It would swim faster, its powerful tail propelling it through the water with desperate speed. It would sing louder, pouring all its yearning into the call. But every single time it arrived at the source, there was nothing. Only the sigh of the waves, only the vast, empty distance. The hope would curdle into a familiar ache, a disappointment so profound it felt like a physical weight. The ocean, it seemed, was full of false promises. Slowly, the whale began to sing less, not because it was tired of the effort, but because it was afraid. A terrifying thought began to take root in its mind. What if its voice meant nothing at all? What if it was just noise, a meaningless vibration in an uncaring universe? The silence started to feel safer than the rejection. The fear of its own sound, of its own hope, became a prison. Its song, once a beacon of desperate connection, became a reminder of its own profound isolation. The loneliest creature in the world was beginning to forget why it sang at all. One night, the ocean was unusually calm, like a vast sheet of black glass reflecting a sky with no stars. The water was still, the currents gentle. The whale stopped swimming, just hung there, suspended in the deep, a colossal shadow in the abyss. For the first time in its long, lonely life, it did not sing. It simply existed in the silence. And the silence was heavier, more suffocating than the immense pressure of the water around it. It was the sound of giving up. In that crushing quiet, something shifted. The whale felt the weight of every failed call, every unanswered song, every mile it had swum in vain. It felt the emptiness of the ocean inside its own heart. Then, slowly, deliberately, it opened its mouth. A sound emerged, not of desperation, not of hope, but of pure existence. It sang again. Song was no louder, no different in its strange high frequency. It was just honest. It was the sound of its own soul, a melody of loneliness, of resilience, of being. The sound traveled far into the calm, dark water, a single, pure note cutting through the silence. No one answered. No echo returned. But this time it was different. The whale didn't wait for a reply. It simply sang its truth into the void. And then, with a slow, powerful beat of its tail, it kept swimming. The ocean remained vast and mysterious. The whale remained alone. But its song was no longer a question. It was a statement. It was proof of its own existence. Its voice continued to move through the water, unchanged, a persistent, beautiful anomaly. It sang not for a response, but for itself. Because in the deepest, darkest parts of the world, to make a sound is to defy the silence. Somewhere far beyond what it could ever see or know, its song still existed. Traveling through the currents, a ripple of its life echoing out into the infinite. And for the loneliest whale in the world, that was enough.